by this group of men to come back.
USA on one. USA!
Third gold in a row. Rio, Tokyo, and now Paris.
Coming to you from the Olympic City, Colorado Springs, Colorado, this is the USA Volleyball Show. And here's your host, Stephen Munson.
Hello and welcome to the USA Volleyball Show, the official podcast of USA Volleyball. I'm your host, Stephen Munson, and I cannot believe it, but we are about to be in May. About a day or two away from this episode. After this episode drops, we will be in the month of May. I can't believe it. And our first junior national championship is coming up this weekend as well. Congrats and best of luck to everyone competing at the Girls 18s Junior National Championship in Reno. I will be there, so if you see me walking around, say hi. I would love to chat with you. But moving into today's episode, we are continuing our focus on the USA Volleyball Hall of Fame class of 2026. Our last episode, we had four-time Paralympic medalist Nicole Millage-Faust on the pod. If you haven't listened to that one already, that episode's live right now. Be sure to check it out. You can listen to it on your favorite podcast platform and our YouTube channel. You can watch the video episode right there. But Nicole shares her emotions when she got the call from John Speraw to let her know that she would be inducted into the USA Volleyball Hall of Fame. She also reflects on memorable moments from her career, including getting to meet President Barack Obama after they took the bronze medal in Rio. During the conversation, we also got a surprise call from one of her former teammates, Katie Holloway-Bridge. That was super fun, but much more in that episode. Be sure to check out that episode 144 now on all podcast platforms, and stay tuned for updates from the USAB Hall of Fame ceremony on May 20th. Which Nicole Millage-Faust will be in attendance of. So looking forward to catching up with her again on the red carpet there. All right, now on to today's episode. We catch up with yet another member of the USA Volleyball Hall of Fame class of 2026, three-time Olympic medalist Foluke Akinradewo Gunderson. We congratulate Foluke on her upcoming induction into the USA Volleyball Hall of Fame. She shares what receiving that honor means to her and the memorable moments that she often looks back on from her career. She also reflects on her time with the U.S. women's national team and the women who paved the path for her in finding herself in a position where she also paved the path for athletes who came next after her. So we've got an amazing conversation for you with Foluke, so let's get right into it. Here is Foluke. Foluke, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. Really excited to catch up with you. But before we get too far into this, gotta congratulate you on your induction into the USA Volleyball Hall of Fame, upcoming induction to the class of 2026. I guess really quickly, how are you doing? How are you feeling about that honor? And again, just so thankful that you had the time to chat with us.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having me. When I first heard from John Speraw that I was inducted, I was like, are you sure? I feel like I just stopped playing. So first and foremost, it feels like too soon to receive such an honor. And then it made me reflect on my career and my start to USA Volleyball, which my first introduction to the national team was when I was in high school for high school week. And my mom took me there. And I remember telling her, there's absolutely no way I can do this. They wake up, they play volleyball, they eat, they play volleyball, they're training, and being amongst these exceptional athletes that were so skilled and strong and everything that I wasn't at that time. I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would even be on the national team. So then to receive an honor like that is insane. And it also makes me think that what drew me to volleyball was the fact that it's a team sport. And so any award, it's impossible to have done this on my own. So for my coaches, all the coaches I've had along the way, the strength and conditioning coaches, the trainers, because I was always broken and they were putting me back together. And then of course my teammates. So it's just it's allowed me to reflect on my career and just be so grateful for everyone who's helped me along the way.
I think I'm right there with you too. I feel like you were still playing. I feel like you were in Paris. That in my head, I have you in Paris on the women's national. You've just been such a staple to that program for so long, and helped build that program to where it was. And of course, got the first gold medal for the program as well, part of that team. But you mentioned the team part of it too. Did you talk to any of your former teammates after hearing from John Sproul and receiving that honor? And did any of them reach out to you?
Yeah, a few teammates reached out to me and just like sent their congratulations. And Tama Miyashiro is my best friend and teammate and also coach. And so it was nice, hearing from her and, being part of that selection process. So yeah, it's been nice to like be in the background now as an athlete and former athlete and following everyone's career as they continue on and like still keeping in touch. Yeah.
I love Tama. We've had her on the podcast at least once, probably twice.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, she's great. I was just talking to Chiaka yesterday, just a little back and forth, and I had mentioned that you were going to be on the podcast. We're going to be talking about you being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I wanted to pull out her words because I thought it was just so fun to chat with her about you. But she was like, "I'm so excited to watch the podcast, listen to it. Genuinely, her biggest fan is what she said, and forever my volleyball idol and icon." So those are Chiaka's words, and I wanted to share them with you.
Oh, that's really sweet. It means a lot. And she it's funny because I know I'm the older one. And so, yes, coming up, I came before her. But man, it's been so fun to watch her career. And I knew from the get-go, like when she came into the gym, it's like, this is a special athlete. And not only is she an amazing athlete, but human as well. And like that combination is fantastic. So that's really sweet hearing that from her.
That's one of my favorite photos from the Tokyo Olympics, and you're laughing now. I know exactly what you know, or you know exactly what I'm talking about. But with you in the middle, Chiaka and Haley on either side of you, and doing the little bow.
Yeah.
And at beginning day, before Paris, I had printed out that photo, and we had a nice little chat about.
Yeah, what does that mean to you? Your legacy for that program, and then the athletes who came before you, and then like Chiaka, seeing the athletes, the future generation after you.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm mentally always still because when I joined the national team, I was 17, right out of high school. And so I was the baby on the team, looking up to my elders and, of course, Daniel Scott and Jen Thomas and, a lot of other greats in the middle position. And so I always see myself as like the youngin on the team. And so it's funny, in Tokyo, having them bow down to me, which is absolutely ridiculous. But I don't see myself that way. And I think forever in my career, until the day I stopped playing, I was like, oh, like I have this I can get better at, and this I need to improve on. And so I just never felt like I've arrived. So obviously it means a lot that they see me that way. And it's just, I don't know. I don't see myself that way because I know I've accomplished a lot, and I know I've, worked hard to achieve what I've achieved, but, I just have never felt that like I've arrived. And so I've always looked to others and like of what they're doing and how I can improve, and honestly looked at like Chi and Haley and the youngins and like, how can I be better? And so like they've taught me a lot, and I've learned from them just like I've learned from the older ones. But in general, it's just fun to watch them and see their growth and their leadership.
You're a 3-time Olympic medalist. You got one in each color: bronze, silver, and gold medals. And I'm assuming you've had time to reflect on your career, but maybe you've kind of since hearing from John Sproul, maybe you've kind of taken a dip back into reminiscing about your career a little bit. But what do you remember most about your career, and what stands out the most for you? What are some of the cool moments that you remember?
Gosh, there's a lot. I think when looking back, well, I take it all the way back to like me just starting the game. And honestly, I wouldn't have started playing volleyball if not for my high school coach, Lisa Zielinski, who is a renowned high school coach in Florida and amazing. And she's the one who got me into it. So I think back there and how I was so reluctant to play because I played basketball. And she was just like, just try it. And she was like nagging me nonstop. So like, okay, I'll try it and play. And so I just think about back then and how awful I was. But like the potential she saw in me, and that it just, my career continued from there. And then, I've always been very competitive, and volleyball, because it wasn't always like a goal of mine. I didn't grow up playing volleyball or thinking that I want to be a volleyball athlete or even playing college. Like I didn't even know that was an opportunity for me. I jumped to playing basketball or, doing track and field in the Olympics. Like that was my dream growing up. And so volleyball just happened. And so I think because of that, like, it was something I loved playing, but it wasn't like my everything in that sense. And so I was always concerned that I wasn't as passionate as others necessarily. Like I competed hard and I love to compete and love my teammates and all that stuff, but it wasn't my like sole identity. And I remember being concerned about that, but um Dr. Mike Gervais told me that that's okay. Like what you're gonna miss maybe isn't gonna be the competition, but it's gonna be like little quiet moments with your teammates. And that's absolutely true. And so when I think back in my career, I think about like being in the airport and or like team dinners or like little moments like that, and just the fact that that period of time you get to be surrounded by your best friends who are working towards a common goal, and that's such a unique experience. And so it's just like even more than the accomplishments on the court, I just think of the time off the court with my teammates.
Yeah, and then nobody understands you and what you're going through better than your teammates who are going through that same exact thing. And the life of a professional athlete, especially a volleyball athlete who's living half of their life overseas. Not as much now with the pro leagues, but
Right.
which is super exciting, and I would love to hear your opinion on those as well. But we can get to that later. But yeah, just such a cool experience to share with your teammates, and I imagine, like you said, just those little moments, the traveling, especially through airports, staying in hotels. It probably even takes you back to your junior days too, just with your club, traveling and doing that kind of stuff too. So, but at a different level.
Yeah, actually, I didn't play club. That was part of it too. I
Oh,
didn't play
okay,
club,
okay.
but
Yeah.
still, yes, 100%. I agree with you in terms of like the shared experience with the teammates. Yeah.
What you mentioned you were a basketball player. You were kind of reluctant to try volleyball. What were some of the early challenges for you coming into the sport?
Um, Gosh, well, first of all, I naively thought that volleyball wasn't a real sport. If I'm being quite frank with you, I was like, I play basketball, I play a real sport. And then I had spent my first day playing volleyball and I was like, what in the world just happened? I was sore in places I never thought was possible. So yeah, like it introduced me to that. I think my biggest hurdle was just those volleyball skills. Like I obviously was really athletic, and that took me a long way. And I think people saw potential in me because of my athleticism. But I mean, I remember, so Alexis Crimes and I kind of started around the same time. She played at Long Beach, but in our high school days, we started with the youth national team, and that was my first year playing volleyball. I played on the youth national team. Again, credit to Coach Lisa Zelensky, because I didn't play club, but she's like, you got to try out for this team, the youth national team. But I didn't play club, so I just like went there really raw. I'd been playing volleyball for what, maybe like 6 months. So again, like didn't know how to pass, like pepper setting, but because we had potential, like Lex and I made the youth national team and we were pepper partners, and to be like, set to yourself, set to your partner. And we spent like most of the like, peppering time just like shagging our balls, like spraying balls everywhere, just like zero skill whatsoever. So like just the fact that towards the end of my career, I could like pass a ball and set a ball and do those like what maybe to some seems like simple. That was a big deal for me. It took like a lot of work. And so like attacking always came easy. Um, Blocking was something that I worked on throughout my career, but just those little like volleyball skills, like pepper, was really tough.
I don't think I knew that you didn't play club until you just said it just now. But
Yeah.
and then formerly the high performance program, now NTDP, National Team Development Program. That was kind of the pipeline to the national team. That was the connector. But I guess, yeah, tell me about your path to the national team. How did you get noticed? You said you made the age group national team that year, but yeah, what was that path like for you?
Yeah, so every summer so I started volleyball my sophomore year in high school. So going into my junior year, I did youth national team. And then I did junior national team going senior, like junior to senior year, and then senior to college. So I did youth, junior, and then I think from that, like just seeing my potential, I was invited. We did high school week, my senior year in high school, which was in 2004. So all the athletes that were prepping for the 2004 Olympics were there. Like Toshi Yoshida was the head coach.
Oh, okay.
And that's when I told my mom, like, absolutely not. Like, just their warm up. Like, they were just doing core, which, like as I got older in my career, it was normal. But for a high school student, I was like, absolutely. This is just their warm up. And they're not even, and they weren't even phased. I was like, well, what is this? Like, I'm not doing this sport. So so I did like high school week, and then I think from like seeing my potential and youth and junior teams, I was invited out when Jenny Lang Ping was then the head coach in 2005. So that was my first like taste of the national team, like actually being on the I think it was Pan Am Cup team in the Dominican, and again like no skills, serve the ball underneath the net, like all these things, like in front of a whole crowd of Dominican fans, So I didn't have
Oh,
like
yeah.
an easy start to the team. It definitely wasn't the most skilled, but I think, I think what's helped me out in my career was just that I just always have had a growth mindset. I've always been like coachable, and I've always looked to others to what they're doing. And I think because, I didn't grow up thinking like I'm going to be a volleyball Olympic athlete, I didn't have that pressure on myself per se, but I just knew I wanted to be better. And I knew that like every day there was some growth. Obviously, it's not linear, but there was a little bit of growth there. And so that was my introduction to the team.
You said you didn't grow up necessarily wanting to be, a professional volleyball athlete, let alone go to 3 Olympics. But was there a moment where it kind of clicked for you, where you were like, yeah, I want to keep pursuing this, or maybe like a special moment, like I don't know, maybe putting the USA jersey on for the first time, where it like really felt real to you?
Yeah, I think after my first season in high school and getting to play on the youth national team and just hearing from others that like, oh yeah, we see potential in you, and then finally getting like recruited by colleges, and I was playing basketball all the time, so I was recruited for basketball and then volleyball, but I played basketball my whole life and I loved the game, but volleyball was new and I was enjoying it, and I knew that I just had a lot of potential in myself. Like I just knew that like I can grow a lot in the sport, and I see that the ceiling is so high and I'm just getting started. And if there's interest there and I'm loving it, like let's see what can happen. And so I think that's probably going into my junior year when it kind of clicked like, okay, I think this is something I want to pursue in college. And I still did track and basketball throughout high school, which is why I didn't play club, because it was during track season or
Okay.
basketball season. So it's like I'm not giving those up. So that's why. But yeah, I think probably going to my junior year. And in terms of like the Olympic team, gosh, I don't know. I think I don't know. I mean, maybe leading up to the 2008 Olympics, because I got to train there and was right on the cusp of making that team. But I think I was like, okay, this is a possibility. So I think from then on, yeah.
You mentioned 2008 just being right on the cusp there. 2012 was your first Olympics, then 16 in Rio, and then obviously, well, 2020, but 2021 Tokyo. I'm sure, very different experiences across the board, especially that last one in Tokyo. But what do you remember most about each Olympic experience, and maybe like kind of your fondest memories, just kind of looking back on those?
Yeah, well, 2012 obviously being the first Olympic Games for me is super special. Having it in London was great. And I think for each Olympics, I would say like what is the most special is opening ceremonies. It's like when it really hits you, because I think for us, or at least the way we tried to approach it, is that the Olympics is like any other tournament, even though people don't like hearing that, but it really is like any other tournament because you're playing the same teams you played in World Cup and VNL or Grand Prix at the time, but World Champs. So it's the same teams. It's a different tournament. So you try and approach it that way, and I think that is a way to be successful in it and not, be to give yourself too much pressure. But it it is different, because it's the Olympics. And I think leading up to it, we try and have the mindset any other tournament, but opening ceremonies when you're like standing there amongst all, all different countries, and then on top of that, your teammates, and not just your volleyball teammates, but Team USA, and seeing, people you looked up to in other sports there, like Serena Williams is there, and my first one is Kobe Bryant's there, and all these people that you look up to, but we're like on the same team. And then it hits you that, I grew up doing track and field, and I wanted to be an Olympic athlete for track and field. Like that was for sure what I was going to do. And so to be in that moment and be like, oh, wow, I finally made it. Yeah, it's not in the sport that I originally thought, but like, wow, I'm here amongst the best of the best in the world. It's really, really special. And it hit me the same way, in 2012, 2016, and obviously 2020, 2021 was different, not having true fans there. But at the end of the day, like you're surrounded by people who have that common goal and are the best of the best. And it still hits you in that special way.
At least, I think that is such a cool experience. At least, from my perspective as a fan, and then in my experience as being a press officer too, is all these athletes, all these teams come from their separate sports, and then you're all one team. You're all Team USA, and you're at the USA High Performance Center on the grounds there, and you're all talking to each other. You're on the cafeteria talking with each other, and in the weight room, you got the TVs on, so you're watching the other sports. You're watching your fellow Team USA athletes, teammates in their competitions, and you're cheering, and it's a really cool and unique experience. I think something that a lot of people don't get to see is that camaraderie. But yeah, even opening ceremonies, walking together, trading pins with each other. It's really cool, and yeah, I totally agree with you. It's just like it's just like any other competition for you, I'm sure, but it's very unique in that aspect.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Yeah.
You mentioned Serena Williams and Kobe Bryant? Do you have any fun stories, like meeting any other Team USA athletes or anyone that you kind of looked up to or were a fan of?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, like those athletes, Kobe Bryant, and he like came to our game, really special. Gosh, there's so many athletes, but I think after being a mom, like watching Allison Felix was really special, seeing her come back and do what she's doing. But yeah, I think I don't know, it's just so unique. Like, again, Tokyo is different, but I can only speak to London specifically because we were in the village the whole time, whereas in,
Right.
Rio, we were just there in the beginning and then we left the village. So I think the full Olympic experience I could say was in the London Olympics. And so it was cool just going to like the dining hall and you just see all these athletes like walk by and it's like, oh, there's Pau Gasol, or here's like all these people. And so yeah, you try not to like be a fan, right? You don't want to be like Jody fangirling, like, oh my gosh, like you guys, like you guys are athletes. We're on the same, not Pal, but we're on the same team. It's not a big deal, but it really is a big deal. Oh, and then I remember the gymnastics team. I remember that in London and just how small they were, but like so strong, like
Yeah.
especially compared to us giants on the volleyball team. But yeah, just things like that. Just seeing just special, incredible athletes. And then reminding myself that we too are special and incredible, just in a different way.
That's the other cool thing, is just seeing all the athletes from different sports together and how different everyone looks, and how like you said, still like so strong and powerful and athletic, but what what each sport kind of demands of a body is interesting. But that's the other cool part of it too. And even like seeing a couple teams get together and like try each other's sports too is fun. In their downtime. But that's awesome. I had something I was going to ask you. I completely forgot. It'll come to me later. What outside of the medals, and this could even be outside of the Olympics too, but what are some of your like favorite memories that, you know, could be like qualifying for the games for the first time, or something like that just kind of stick out, or it could be, you know, a fun story that you have from traveling with the team in the airport. But, you know, outside of the competition itself, anything that kind of stands out to you as you kind of reflecting on your career.
Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of touched on it earlier, just like the little moments with the teammates and like hanging out. I mean, this is kind of going back to competition, so but it's not the Olympic Games. But the World Championship team in 2014,
2014, yeah.
that was just a really special group and so much fun to experience that and like won our first gold medal together with them as well. And because of the way in which it happened, where we had lost in pool play, or like, I don't remember, like the pool play to Italy. Then we beat Russia, but then we were depending on Italy. Like Italy had to win in order for us to like be able to continue on to the semifinals. And so it was all in their hands. And so I remember just like watching the game, like cheering so hard for Italy, which no way wouldn't, you know, but we're like, let's go. And I guess they could have just, you know, lost the match on purpose if they wanted to, but they didn't, thankfully. And so it gave us an opportunity to like continue on playing, and then we obviously ended up winning the gold there. But yeah, just like going through it with that group, I think it was the first time, where it just felt really good. Like every single person on that team, whether you're playing or not, was working towards a common goal and really supporting one another, regardless of whether they got to step on the court or not. And so it just felt like, like a really strong group of sisters working together. And so that, aside from obviously the Olympic, you know, medals there, that's something that I really look back fondly on.
I remember that because 2014 was my first year at USA Volleyball. And that was like one of the first, because I was kind of like, I can't remember what time of year it was, September, October-ish maybe. So I had just started at USA Volleyball, and I remember sitting in my cubicle, and everyone was in their cubicles or their offices watching it at the headquarter office in Colorado Springs. And I was brand new, but I had it pulled up, and I hadn't met Doug Beal yet, our CEO at the time, CEO and president. Just heard of him, and I don't come from a volleyball background either, so I didn't know a ton of the history of USA Volleyball, and so I didn't really know who Doug Beal was. But he came and sat in my cube, and walked by and sat in my cube because I had the game on, and we were just chatting and watching. And then he was super nice and just, you know, listening to me too and my perspective on things, and then kind of walked off and did his own thing. And then I can't remember who my cube mate was, but next to me was like, "Do you know who that was?" I was like,
No idea.
That's even better.
Yep, I know. Yeah.
And I've told Doug that story a few times now since then. But yeah, it was just funny and really cool to kind of share that moment too. But yeah, I remember watching that, and that was so much fun to watch that run that you guys had.
Yeah, that was great.
I remember what I was going to say earlier. You mentioned Alice and Felix. I was able to go to a track and field event, or athletics, I think is what they call it in the Olympics. I might be embarrassing myself there, but in Tokyo, I was able to go, and I was able to. Just happened to be one of the races I saw was one that Allison was in, and that was really cool to see her race in that.
Yeah,
Be able to experience that.
You mentioned earlier, just kind of briefly, having a family too, starting a family and coming back. But 2019. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
You and your husband had a son. How old is your son now?
He's 6.
6. Oh my
He's
gosh,
6.
flying
Yeah, I have a
by.
6-year-old and a 3-year-old. Yeah,
Okay, 6-year-old and 3-year-old. Both boys?
both boys.
Both boys? Okay.
Yeah.
I have a 3-year-old, well, almost 3-year-old son as well.
Oh, nice.
So, man, those terrible twos. Am I right?
I mean, I don't know. A 2 was like pretty chill. 3,
Okay.
it's kind of interesting.
Maybe it's as we're getting closer to 3, it's starting to ramp up a little bit. But he's got his personality is
Yes.
fully out, and he's figuring things out. He's got his own opinions, and
100%.
but man, it's so much fun. He's
So
so
much
much fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
How we're my wife and I are expecting as well.
Oh, congratulations.
So we have another on the way due in July. But what
Oh,
I guess
fantastic.
really quickly, parent to parent,
Yeah.
any big advice that you have for balancing two?
Ooh, well, I will say that I don't know if you've heard this already, but in terms of getting the older one ready for the younger one, like having a gift from baby for the older sibling was huge. Like, especially if there's something that they've been wanting and you're like, okay, cool. Like, my son wanted binoculars for some reason. And
Love that.
so, like, when my youngest Tunde was born, I was like, oh, look, like there's binoculars. And he's like, oh my gosh, my baby brother's so cool, and so like that already, they're like, okay, this baby's pretty cool. And he was like, okay with having him around. Which is
Starting
great.
off on the right foot there.
Starting
That's
off on
that's
the
a
right
great
foot,
that's a
right?
great tip, actually.
Yeah.
I'm
And
gonna steal
so-
that.
Yeah. And then also having your older one get a gift for baby too. So then, they're involved in the process.
True,
With
true.
that. So I think that was really cool. And then in terms of balancing too, I mean, we're still man to man, so that's cool.
Yes.
And I think it's, you've done it before, so it's like less scary in that sense, So you got it. It'll just be a little more loud.
Right, yeah. Well, we already don't sleep, so we're just like, yeah, might as well just keep it going,
Wait,
right?
really? Wait, why don't you
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he's just our son Teller has just never been a great sleeper.
sleep? Womp. Okay.
Yeah. And we're finally accepted it. We're like, this is just who he is.
Oh man. Okay.
But every now and then, actually, like 2 nights ago, he had like a 10+ hour straight night, and we were like, "Are we turning a corner?" We always say that every single time, and it was funny. We wake up and we're like, "What do we do with all this time?"
Oh,
Right. Like what's going on?
but the
We'll
next
see.
next night he was back to those normal
Well, yeah.
ways.
I was gonna say kids keep you so humble because the moment you think you figured it out, they're like,
Mhm.
no, I'm gonna switch it up on you. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yep. And you replay the whole day in your head. You're like, all right, what did we do differently that day?
100%.
And try to mimic that. But
Yeah,
no,
doesn't work.
yeah, it keeps us on our toes.
Yeah.
Keeps us honest,
sure.
as you said.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Talking about 2019, you came back for the Tokyo Olympics and joined the national team, and I would love to hear your perspective going through that journey and the challenging part and the rewarding parts of that.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, I had my son November 2019 on Thanksgiving Day, which was fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And but from my pregnancy, I actually developed diastasis recti. So that's, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but your 6-pack abs, there's called like the linea aba. It's like what keeps them connected.
Right. Okay.
So that for me was separated and was like a 9 centimeter plus separation. And so because of that, like I had no core. And so it took me a full year before I could like hit and feel a core. So that was the biggest battle on top of obviously COVID, which pros and cons, big con, of course, as we know. For me, that delay helped out my return because
Of course,
it
yeah.
took me like a year before I could feel my core. And obviously that would have been a little bit too late if the Olympics had gone on. So as scheduled. And so, yeah, it just took me a long time to get back. The day that I was supposed to start jumping I remember it was March 17th, I think, but that was the day the world shut down. And so I was supposed to go into the gym and like start my training. And then we were no longer to be allowed in the gym. So I did all of my like ramp up and return to play and everything in my garage by myself. Obviously we had like Zoom calls with with Jimmy, and with Kara, and like doing what we could, but I had to do a lot of it on my own. And so I remember like on the bike and training, and it's like, okay, like no one's watching, but I have this goal and I got to do it. And so even though it's tough, like I would like breastfeed my son and then go downstairs and go into the garage and like work out by myself and try and get after it. And so obviously in the end it worked out, but it wasn't easy. And I think, of course, the diastasis was the biggest hurdle on top of that. And I actually ended up having surgery for it a few months ago. So it was a pretty big separation, but I was able to get it to the point where I could still play. But obviously with that, like back pain and hip issues and things like that. So it wasn't an easy road back, but that was always my goal. And I think I had other athletes to look to as inspiration. Robin Mo Santos, she always had her son in the gym. Taiba, Hanif Park, and then Danielle Scott. And I remember Danny and Ty had their kids at the Olympics in London. And I was like, that's so cool. And if I'm fortunate enough to do something like that, like I want to do that. And so even though it was tough for me and that journey back was a really arduous road getting back, I had them to look to. And so it's funny, like the youngins are telling me like, oh, you're the one, like you're our inspiration. It's like, well, actually, like my inspiration and who you really should be looking to are these older ones that really paved the way for me and let me grind it out when I like wanted to quit. But I was like, no, I got to do this. So.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of goes back to our earlier conversation. We were talking about Chiaka too, and just your inspirations, but not only as athletes, but as mothers too, and parents, and that's so. And my gosh, going through that core separation. I mean, you're trying to make it back as an athlete, but you're a mom too, a new mom, and not having that strength, man, can't even imagine.
Yeah, it was rough, but again, a lot of thanks to my coaches and to like Kara, Kessin's trainer, Jimmy Stitz, and then Brianna Battles, and my pelvic floor therapist, Malia, that they helped me through it, because obviously it's something you can't do on your own, and to be able to recognize it and to like ramp me back up. So just like everything, like nothing in my career was done on my own. And yes, you had to have the internal motivation to get it done, but that support system was huge.
So then going through all that, and then, well, I'm sure it was like a roller coaster a little bit, because you hear that maybe the Olympics are going to be canceled, right, in 2020, then later postponed, obviously. But I guess, yeah, what was that, going through that, talking about, or like reflecting on how rewarding that was for you, and probably a little bit bittersweet too, because it wasn't a full games experience too. So I imagine your family wasn't there in Tokyo, but going through that journey and coming back and being successful on that. Talk a little bit about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think I always joke, but I'm also half serious. Like if the Olympics had gone as planned, like I would have made it work. It would have happened. Like I would have been on that team. Good luck to my husband during that time, because I'd probably been like extra psycho to make it work. But obviously that delay like helped a lot. And like you said, well, finding out like, okay, is it gonna be canceled? Is it not? I just had my eyes, like, I'm just, regardless of what happens, like, I'm just gonna come back and, like work towards that goal. So, that was gonna happen regardless for me. But like you said, it was kind of bittersweet. I was so grateful and fortunate to have made the team. Because it was an unknown. Like I didn't know if my body would be able to come back. And so it came back enough. Obviously, I wasn't the same athlete that I once was, with a full core. And having, obviously, part of it too was that I hadn't played with my teammates for a long time, like I did in previous Olympics. Like Jordan Poulter, I played with her, I guess that summer, really, because I got pregnant. I didn't play with her before I got pregnant, and then after I had my son, like I played with her that summer, leading into a few months. So obviously the connection wasn't what it could have been had we had more time together. So it wasn't fully, my full, um, I don't know, had like all cylinders running in that sense. But again, very grateful to have made the team. And then bittersweet in the fact that my family couldn't be there because, yeah, obviously that was my dream. Like, oh, yeah, not that my son would have remembered anyway. Like,
Right.
like would have been, 18 months or so at the time. So he wouldn't remember that, have that memory. Um, but regardless, I knew they were watching back home and he can look back on it when he gets older, be like, oh, yeah, mom once was a good athlete, even though it's questionable these days.
Mom is a badass. That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and then so after Tokyo, you announced your retirement. Were you thinking about possibly continuing, and I guess take us through that journey and that conversation maybe with yourself and then obviously with your family too.
Yeah, I had always said that if my body and heart are in it still, I'll continue playing. But by the time my career had ended, obviously my body was questionable, but my heart like wasn't really in it either. I was just ready for the next step. I knew I wanted to have another child as well, and I knew that coming back from that would be a journey in and of itself. And obviously my husband had made the sacrifice to be with me and like help with our son. I mean, he was like almost essentially the sole caregiver when I was overseas playing in Japan, the last 2 seasons of my career, because especially with COVID, like it was just him and Kaede, and I would be off, like playing in matches and stuff. So he obviously made that sacrifice as well. And I I think I was just ready to be done. I think, um, again, like so much gratitude, but when you're thinking of like before, like the sole focus is volleyball, and when your mind goes elsewhere, it's like, okay, like maybe it's time. And then also with my body, like back in the day I could just jump like no question, but when you have to like think about jumping and like how it might hurt when you land, I think it's time to call it quits. And so that was my experience. And by the end of my time, yeah, 2022 playing Japan, we won the championship, which was awesome. But in true COVID fashion, we all got COVID and weren't able to play in the finals. And so like the
Oh
season was
wow.
canceled. So we played like
Oh,
the first, like it was like it's a home and home situation. So we played like the first final match and we won. And then I got COVID. Like everyone like just got COVID on both teams. And so then it was
wow.
canceled. And so that's how my career ended, with COVID.
Of
But
course, yeah.
it was time. So but at least we got the championship, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, by that time I was ready to be done.
Well, and before that, you ended your national team career on top of the podium too. So that's gotta feel good. What was that feeling like for you standing on top of the podium? You've been on the podium twice before that, but now you're at the very top. You hear the national anthem. You're getting the gold medal. Yeah, take us through the emotions of that moment.
Yeah, super surreal, of course. Having been on the podium 2 times prior for the Olympics, you hear the national anthem for the other countries and you envision yourself there. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to like play our national anthem. And so to finally be there and to have them play our national anthem was so special. And then you just reflect back on everything, like your journey getting there. And obviously think about my family and my parents and my brothers who, were there from the very beginning and supporting me. And obviously wishing they could also be in the stands, my husband and son. But yeah, it was really special. I think, throughout the Olympics and the national team, especially the last two under Karch, our goal was to do that which has never been done before. Obviously previous Olympics too, but like that was kind of like the theme, to do that which has never been done before. And not only, win the gold medal, but the way in which we did it. And teammateship and just, yeah, overall being good humans and working towards the same goal. And I think we were able to accomplish that. And so that was really special to see how you can do it in a way that is supportive with one another and still work towards a common goal, and to win and achieve that. It was really special.
And then flash forward to Paris. You're watching from a different perspective. You're there in a different perspective. what was that like, watching the team make it to the gold medal final, obviously coming away with silver, but making it to that stage, that part of the competition again? And yeah, what were the feelings any different for you? And did you have any, did you talk to anyone from the team, either afterwards or throughout their time there?
Yeah, I talked to a few people. I think again, how I knew it was time to be done is like I would envision myself like at home eating popcorn, like watching them play, and to actually get to do that was really fun. Just be at home and still get to cheer them on, but there was no part of me that wished I were out there. Like, I need to be back out there playing. I didn't feel that way, but I did, like those feelings still came up of like how special it is and how like I know what they're going through and how they're grinding and how um you know I don't know, like all the emotions that go into it. And so especially with pool play and like the things were a little questionable at first, a little shaky, and then to see them grind through it, because I know it's not easy, and to get a silver medal at the end was so special. So I was really excited for them, and I think watching like closing ceremonies and getting excited for LA 2028 and all that stuff, it's been fun to like be in the background watching it all and cheering and supporting everyone. Yeah.
I remember running into Kavika Soji a couple times in Paris, a fellow Stanford alum. Um, he mentioned that he was really enjoying just being a fan and going to the different competitions too, not just volleyball. But what he missed most was the locker room, just being with the team. Was there any part of the experience that you missed like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, it always comes back to being with my teammates, and not necessarily on the court, but just the off the court shenanigans, like dancing before matches and just being
Yeah.
ridiculous, things like that, like things that people don't necessarily get to see outside of the locker room. We're just being our true selves and being our true weird selves, sometimes, and people don't see all that all the time. And so, yeah, of course, I do definitely miss that part of the game and that part of like being on a team. Yeah.
You mentioned dancing. That just hit a memory of, I think Kara Kessens used to like lead like dance offs like right before warm up. It would you'd like pass between all the athletes.
And it might have been
really?
might have been more recently, actually. Maybe
Okay.
I'm remembering like a VNL recently, but
Oh, that's funny.
I think just like to mix it up where it's not just like the same
Yeah.
thing, but she'd like play the music and then point at someone, and then they would have to do a dance move, then pass it to someone else. And
Oh, that's hilarious.
so yeah, I love Kara. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, man, Feluca, this has been an amazing. Actually, no. Before I let you go, I did want to ask about just the pro leagues now. We have 3 pro leagues now: MLV, Love, and Athletes Unlimited. U.S. Women's Pro Leagues in the States now. I guess what's your perspective on those? Have you had any conversations with anyone from those leagues, whether athlete or in the front office or anything? And yeah, just like how excited are you for the growth of the sport here in the U.S.?
Yeah, super excited for the growth. I always say that if Love had started, a little earlier, I probably would have played to end my career there. And like what a dream to be able to play in the States. I'm on the Love advisory board, so I'm obviously partial to Love, but
Okay, yeah.
I was just there for the finals this past weekend, and wow, like so special to see and to be the Pyramid, have it sold out, like oversold. Um, and yeah, just the dream to have a professional league in the States and to have the support that we have and the interest we have, and how women's sports, like everyone is watching women's sports right now, and people are really interested and invested and want the growth of the sport. And so obviously having 2-3+ leagues can be a little confusing, but that is, I mean, it's natural. NBA was similar, like you're going to have numerous leagues to begin with, and then it's obviously going to to dwindle down to one at the very end. But in general, the fact that we have the ability to play in the States at a high level, and to get paid to do so, and to have other people watch and the youth to be inspired to see it in their backyard. Whereas, in the past we would play in college and then, okay, bye, we'll see you at the Olympics. Like, you don't know what's happening on the in-between time. But now the youth can come and see their favorite players, any other weekend. And I think it's just going to grow the game even more. So I'm really excited for the potential.
Yeah, you talk about youth and the younger generation now getting able to watch the top level volleyball now. Do you have any advice for, especially coming from you, from a unique path, not playing club volleyball and making your way to the national team, but do you have any advice for the younger generation who are striving to, maybe it's not the Olympics, maybe it is the Olympics, but maybe playing college, maybe playing, maybe making their club team or something like that?
Yeah, I would say set goals for yourself and to be easy on yourself. I think sometimes it's tough when you don't reach your goal right away. And so to that, I will also say that growth is not linear. And if you're working towards something, like, not every day is going to look the same. And one day you might have an aha moment and you've grown in this skill. And then the next day you're like, I am awful. Like, what's going on? But just know that you might make a big leap and, like, one baby step down, and don't let that baby step down derail you from your goal and your path, and just to keep going, to keep yourself, make sure you're coachable, obviously to work exceptionally hard, and to give yourself grace, because, like I said, it's not always linear in the path of growth. So just to continue to have that growth mindset.
Trust the process. Trust the process.
For sure. Easier said than done, for sure. I know
course,
it's easier said than done, but if you can really get yourself to do that, I think, like, not worrying so much about the end goal, but just, like, making, like, baby goals for yourself every single day. Like, okay, I just want to, I don't know, like, block 3 balls or serve to this area like this many times. And just, like, small goals like that, I mean, can really help you. And when you have those, like, big lofty goals, it can really seem daunting and overwhelming. So I get it. But I mean, I'm using that in my, like, future career self too. It's like, it's not all going to happen at once. So yeah.
I can't remember who I was talking to. It must have been a coach maybe, but yeah, they talked about that a little bit too. And just creating those, like, little mini games in your head, in the bigger game, but like you said, 3 blocks, just getting 3 blocks or getting a touch, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You mentioned your future career. Before I let you go, I just wanted to catch up a little bit. What are you up to now? And obviously a mom of 2, but yeah, even outside of that.
Yeah, so I, like I told you, I had always been thinking about, like, what I want to do next in volleyball, like, because I know this career isn't forever. So I decided on that I'm not sure my ultimate goal, but I do want to go into nursing. So when I had my son Tune Day in 2023, I started my prerequisites. And so I start nursing school. It was just in June, this coming June. So
Oh my gosh, amazing.
enjoying my downtime before the crazy begins. But yeah.
That's so cool. Did you have a field that you were kind of, like, looking at, or just kind of figuring it out still?
Yeah, I'm pretty open to everything. I'm interested in nursing anesthesia, like being a nurse anesthetist, but honestly, ultimately, I'm open. And so I think, because in life, like, you have your goal set in one thing and then a door opens in a different direction. And so I'm just being open to everything, because I know that anything is possible. So yeah, so I'll start that in June. And my inspiration is my mom, because growing up, she was a teacher in Nigeria and then was a fashion designer when we moved to Canada, which is where I was born. When we moved to the States, she started nursing school. And so growing up in an elementary school, she was, like, starting her career in nursing. And so she'd be studying while I was doing my homework. And so from that, I knew it was possible. And that is where I find myself now, starting school, like, starting a second career. And, my my oldest is in elementary school. So, I know it's doable. I'm like, I don't know how she did it, but obviously she made it work. So I'll try and make it work too.
feel like I'm always saying that about my parents too, and tell that to them as well. I'm one of 4 kids, and I'm like, how did you do 4?
I don't get it. I really don't get it. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not 3, but they clearly made it work somehow. But
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like overextended now, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can only
I
imagine.
know. They always just say like, you just do it.
I know.
I'm like,
I know.
all right.
Yeah, I know.
I know. I was like, I feel like I can't complain to them.
No, exactly. I know. But I'm like, are we more involved than they were? But I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea what it is. But
Yeah. It's just different.
also, I
times,
do think it's
yeah.
like over information. Like I think we know too
Oh
much.
yeah.
100%.
100%
So
agree.
that is part of the problem.
Too much access to information, I think.
Absolutely.
Versus, they were just figuring it out on their own.
Exactly.
And we turned out okay.
Somewhat, I guess.
Somewhat, yeah.
Just good enough.
Well, Foluke, that's amazing. You'll have to keep us updated. Maybe we'll have you back on a little bit later, in a couple years, and catch up and see how you're doing. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you.
And then I think I heard that before we started recording that you weren't going to be at the Hall of Fame
No,
in
I'm
person.
not.
Okay.
Yeah, no. So this was kind of like, this was great. So thank you for the opportunity to like thank everyone for my career, because I won't be able to do that in person. But again, like just so grateful for each and every person who's had an impact on my career. And I never in a million years thought that this would be possible. So it's really special.
Well, we're going to miss you there, but congratulations again. Such a well-deserved honor, and looking forward to what you're doing next.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And I guess before we let go, anywhere where fans can follow you along your journey, or on social media, or if they have questions, reach out to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the greatest on social media, as anyone who knows me will know. So do not post a lot. And I always joke that if I were in this generation, I don't know if I would get any NIL deals, because I would be really awful at posting. So I don't do that. I feel like a grandma in that sense. But I do, like, if you send me a message, I do respond. So, I mean, it might not be in a timely manner, but I will get to it eventually. So you can definitely send a message through my Instagram.
Everything I know about nursing, being a doctor, is from Scrubs, the TV show. Love it. Actually, they just came out with like a reboot season. They just finished it. But one of the doctors is like, or one of the young doctors doing the rounds is a medical influencer, I think is what she called herself.
Oh, funny.
And so that would be a fun perspective from you, former high level athlete, Olympian, 3-time Olympic medalist. Now that'd be awesome content.
I mean, again, terrible on social media. I like staying hidden. I'm very much so one who does not like the public eye. So, and not for like any reasons of being like, oh yeah, I don't want people knowing about me, but just my introversion. So I'd rather not. But that is so funny. And I watched The Pit. And
Oh, yes.
there was someone on there too who she's also a medical influencer. So yeah, it's funny.
My wife and I were talking about maybe starting The Pit next. So yeah, good. It's good show. Okay. Yeah.
Super good. I know.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, because I never watched Scrubs in the beginning, and so, but I heard it was the most accurate up until The Pit. So
I heard it was, and I mean, I'm a huge Scrubs nerd, so I like know all the behind the scenes and lore behind it. But they talked about that a lot during out. They had like actual doctors like on set to make sure they were doing things right, and saying the right things, even like doing like the procedures, like making it look like they were doing it for real. But we'll have to check out The Pit then.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do. I just finished the second season. It's really good.
All right. Well, again, we're going to miss you at the Hall of Fame, but congratulations again on that honor, and good luck in nursing school as well. It's so exciting.
Yeah, thank you so much. Great chatting with you.
You as well. All right. We'll talk to you later.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
It was truly incredible to catch up with Foluke, and so much to catch up on with her, since the last time we had seen each other was the Tokyo Olympics. She's a mom of 2 now and getting ready to start med school. Enough said right there. Listeners, I hope you enjoyed the conversation. So much inspiration in Foluke's career and her journey from never playing club volleyball to becoming a star at Stanford and making her way through the USA pipeline to the senior national team and becoming a 3-time Olympic medalist, including helping the program capture its first gold medal. Foluke, thank you again for taking the time to chat with me. Thank you for all you've done for USA Volleyball, the U.S. Women's National Team program, and the sport as a whole. I'm looking forward to catching up with you again sometime down the road. We're going to miss you at the Hall of Fame. I know you can't be there, but looking forward to seeing you again down the road. I know you probably can't get too far away from volleyball. The sport kind of follows you even after you retire. But yeah, looking forward to catching up with you again down the road. And thank you so much for chatting. And again, thank you so much for doing so much for volleyball and inspiring so many. Listeners, as always, thank you for your support and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Our next episode will also feature another honoree from the class of 2026 USA Volleyball Hall of Fame. So stay tuned for that one. That will be our last episode focusing on the class of 2026 as we head into the USA Volleyball Hall of Fame ceremony on May 20th. If you have feedback or ideas for future guests that you'd like to hear from or topics you want us to talk about, reach out to us at the USAV show at usab.org. Follow and leave a comment on your go-to podcast platforms as well. It really helps this podcast grow and reach new listeners. Be sure to check out our video episodes as well on our YouTube channel. But until next time, this has been another episode of the USA Volleyball Show, the official podcast of USA Volleyball.
This has been the USA Volleyball Show with Stephen Munson. Produced by Curtis Ward. Our content producer is Laura Fawcett. Our marketing lead is Bree Jaycox. If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to rate, review, and share with your friends. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the USA Volleyball Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to or watch your podcasts.